So I want to dive into the diet stuff a little bit. I think the last couple of months I've seen this stuff on like sugar diet, and of course there was a carnivore before that.
Mm,
Like I don't even know what Mark Bell is doing these days, but he popularized the carnivore diet, and then not just him. He was one of many people, and now he's
mm.
doing this sugar diet, which I'm only seeing a little bit more lately. You have been on a vegan diet for how long now?
It's been a year and 7 months.
Wow, okay. So a year and 7 months, and you're the strongest you've ever been, right? Pretty much, at least relative to your body weight.
Best lean body composition, best relative strength so far.
And
And
total
I
protein
bulked
intake
up.
is,
Total protein intake maxes out at 120 grams. So
wow.
I don't go higher than that. Now, some people might find that low, but if we go by the well established standard of zero point 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, well, I'm 157 pounds. So 157 times zero point 0.8 is 125 grams. And that's my body weight. What about the lean mass, which is what this number is probably representing?
Right.
It's probably even less than 120 grams. So there you have it. I'm still falling in the guidelines. It's just not as high as many people claim.
Yeah.
And I've seen no differences. In 2023, when I competed, I was consuming around 220 grams a day, eating a pack of horse meat a day, and a lot of egg whites and a lot of protein powder. So I did the complete opposite, quite literally over 100 grams more, and I saw zero differences whatsoever in terms of performance, recovery, all that. Last year, I got shredded on 120 grams. This year, I did the same thing. I'm a pound heavier, stronger. I bulked up to 181 pounds, and I bench pressed 405 with a pause on a vegan diet, eating beans, pasta, sweet potatoes. I had some vegan protein powder as well, but it was pea protein. It's not even the best one. It's not even soy. And I've been fine. The max I'll consume is a block of tofu a day, but even that I've stopped doing. And I haven't seen any differences. If there
Yeah.
was, I would have reported it, but there hasn't been. So that's been my experience so far of doing this a year and 7 months. I went into this for health reasons, and my blood pressure is low. It used to be high. I used to be prone to that. My other numbers, I have no idea. I haven't done any blood tests done, but all I could say is I've bulked up. I've been shredded. I've been super strong. Uh, this diet has served me well. So, and that's just because I trusted the evidence.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's interesting. So back in 2007 to like 10, I was listening to like DC guys and stuff like that, and there's 2 grams per pound of protein, 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And I mean, literally, I was 160 pounds eating 300 to 320 grams of protein a day. And I'm sure my parents just hated the amount of
Oh
chicken
yeah.
that I was going through. It was just absurd.
Hmm.
I'd go to the dining hall, and I basically had to make friends with the people at the dining hall in college, and they would see me like in the line. They'd know I was coming, so they'd get like 3 chicken breasts to the side. And so like it was like I definitely was known for that. But it was so ridiculous. And yes, there'd be all these examples of these guys who, again, were enhanced, a different situation, but they were like, oh, well, you know what? I wasn't gaining, and then I started adding these protein shakes, or I started adding another 100 grams of protein. Now I'm making gains. But it's like, yeah, but you also just added a bunch of calories. So it's not like
Yep.
you just took away calories elsewhere. And I'm glad to see that that is almost entirely fallen out of favor. Like even the enhanced guys I see now talking about no, take away, like don't have that much protein, like to the extreme that, it used to be done. Some of these guys 400 to 600 grams of protein a day. It was so ridiculous. Now they're saying like, no, it's probably better to have the carbs and whatnot. Not saying there's no exceptions, but like even like John Meadows before he passed was talking about going down to 100 grams of protein a day, which for a guy his size is very low, but
Wow.
not seeing any negatives from that. I talked about like my buddy Kevin. He's a pretty lean, like 170. Literally has never. He's probably stronger than me on like half of movements, if not most movements actually. And 100 grams of protein a day, like never really exceeds that.
Yeah.
So when I not with I talk about my intermittent fasting experiments, not only did I cut down to 3 meals a day and 8 hours a day, I also cut from the 2 grams per pound of body weight to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And I mean, just literally no negative at all. Now,
Mhm.
to call myself out, I talk about these experiments and people should experiment more. I mentioned how I've never done like crazy, crazy low volume across the board. I've also never experimented with low protein. Like I've truly just almost never in the last 20 years eaten less than 1 gram per pound. So you could definitely make the
Yeah.
argument like, hey, Dave, just do it. Do 3 months at 100 grams and see what happens. I think part of it is like you don't necessarily, again, are we looking to not lose or are we looking to gain? But if we're accepting that, hey, we're not gaining anyway, what's the
Does
harm?
it matter?
Yeah, what's the
Like,
harm in trying 100 grams?
does it matter at your level? I I think you should try it just to see how much can I get away with not
Yeah.
consuming. Because I've gone down that rabbit hole myself. I even at some point I'm like, you know what? Let's just stop with the protein powder. Let's even stop with the soy protein because there's always a trade off with this, right? The more protein you have, and I'm sure you've seen this, it appears to raise IGF-1 and it turns on mTOR. So it's been hypothesized, or actually now it's been kind of confirmed that you can slow down the rate of aging, the speed of aging by restricting protein. So it's like if you want the maximum lifespan possible, you don't need this crazy high amount. It's probably better not to get that. But then it's like if you're a natural bodybuilder, uh, can you get away with that? Are you going to start losing muscle? So if you're following the zero point 0.8 grams per kilograms of body weight, which is what you would hear like in a general health standpoint, is that enough for a bodybuilder? So I actually tried that myself, and I did find that my recovery was worse. So that's like if you're consuming 60 grams or so of
Mhm.
protein a day.
Yeah,
So
quite
look,
low.
I'm 71. I always got to do the math because I'm in Poundsville. Sorry, 1 second. Uh,
Real good.
71 times zero point 0.8. That's 56 grams a day of protein. So I was around that mark. I tried that for a bit, and my recovery was not what it used to be. I noticed a difference. But am I benefiting my long term health by doing that? Maybe. Maybe I'm
Did you
not turning on
lose
mTOR.
strength or you just weren't recovering and making as gains as much?
Both. Both. Like it wasn't just minus ones, it would be like minus twos.
Mm,
And I would just be a bit more sore. So I don't care what these guys tell me. Again, because I'm the experiment, that zero point 0.8 per kilograms is not enough. But zero point 0.8 per pound absolutely is.
yeah.
And I think the lowest amount of protein that I can get away with is around 90 grams. Around there, I can honestly say that it's comparable to 120. And then going beyond 120, I don't see anything. What I do notice is, like you pointed out, when the calories are higher. I think that's the biggest determiner. And also when you have more carbs in you. And I think that's one of the benefits of following a lower protein diet is that you can keep your calories lower. So you're maintaining like a lighter body weight, but then you can drive up the carbs. So ultimately, you retain better performance than if you're doing more protein with less carbs, and you stay fuller as well, and your work capacity doesn't go to hell. So I think that's a better balance. But again, calories are still your best friend because I can have the same macros. If I'm getting 400 grams of carbs with 2,000 calories or whatever, I can be closer to 600 if I'm in the 3,000s. And when you have 600 grams of carbs, oh my goodness, the energy is insane. So
Yeah.
it's still better, all things being equal.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, and I actually like protein, like in terms of eating it. Like I like Greek yogurt. I like my protein powder. It's always amusing to me when I hear people talk about how it's so hard. Like Rhonda Patrick, and again, it's a woman, she's not a
Oh,
lifter, but like, oh, it's just it's so hard to eat, zero point 0.8 grams per pound of body weight or something. And I'm over here thinking like, what are you talking about? And not just her, many, many, many people say this. But again, from the time I was 12 to 14 years old, I had been
yeah,
used to eating that way. If you're used to like a
yeah.
standard American diet, I understand. So for
But
me,
even, sorry,
to me it's not
go
that
on.
hard. It's just not that hard to do it. Now what is a little harder now is on the low saturated fat. Now I've got to be eating very lean, ground turkeys
Hmm.
and egg whites or whatever. So it's just less palatable, right? But when I could have full fat, whatever, ground beef or something like that, easy. So it is still probably a little bit tastier. to have more carbs and fat than protein. It's cheaper
Definitely.
if that's something that you care about. You know, you could probably save a little bit of money by eating there. So like there's almost no downside. I think for me, where it start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, again, this is more just mental. Under like 150, I'd be like, okay. But like again, would there be a harm in trying it? Not at all. And I could just easily just do 3 months of that.
Honestly, I don't. I think, yeah, capping it at 150 would be a great starting point. I don't think you'd see a big difference, if at all. Is I just don't see it, man.
Yeah,
At your
I
body
doubt
weight,
it. I doubt it.
I highly doubt it. You could probably take it even lower. So I think that's where I was at actually when I benched 405 at
Wow.
181. I was around 150 grams a day, and not because I was trying to get an additional 30 grams of protein. It's just because you're eating more calories and you end up there. But I don't think it was necessary. I think 120 would have done the same thing if that's what I
Okay.
was eating. I don't know, but I would at least give it a try. And if you lose muscle, perfect. I'm happy you lost muscle, Dave, because now you know what not to do.
Right.
So that's all and you'll gain it right back. It'll take like a month. Big deal.